late to work on stuff. Never a good idea. Get tired, things start going wrong, get mad. Productivity just seems to plummet. Everything that can go wrong seems to go wrong. Anyways, except in this case, I think that's pretty good. I think it's actually. You can't see it. I don't know why I can't catch this in the camera. You can kind of see the light coming through, but it's just a tiny bit out of square now in the opposite direction. But it's also, you won't be able to see this, but just a little bit curved on that. So I think maybe I need to revisit my my spacing between the two side bearings on these guide blocks. Maybe they've opened up so that the blade can kind of move around more than I want it to. But I am able to kind of guide the blade this way or that way around a perfect cut where I'm looking to get. So I think the remaining adjustment needs to come from these bearing blocks, guide blocks. But that ain't happening tonight, and I think we've got it pretty close. Probably call it a video. So, having got this thing cut, cutting reasonably well, I would say in summary, you can make a Carolina saw cut good. It's taken quite a bit of time to accomplish this job, but all in all, if you have time, if you already have the saw, you have the materials, I would say go for it. You know, it's not the worst saw in the world. It can be improved, but if your time is in short supply, you might be better off going and buying a better saw. But saws are expensive. You know, I got this thing for $200. You could probably do better than that. If you need a cheap saw that'll last you for a while, you could do what I've done and you could make it work. It all depends on your situation. You know, a guy working in a professional shop, he would look at what I've done and say, that's ridiculous. Who has time for that? But if you're just a hobby guy like myself and you needed a big enough saw to cut whatever you need to cut for the foreseeable future and you're not strapped for time, this is an option. I didn't see anything else like this on YouTube as far as how to make these things work, how to fix them. I saw practically no information on these saws on YouTube, so I figured I would make my contribution to the YouTube world and show you all how you could redneck fix a saw. Hope it helps. doing some handrails from my mom's house, and the saw is working great. You can see I built a stand for it because this top surface here, the table, only sat about 2 foot off the ground. I'm 6'3", so I didn't want to bend over the whole time using this saw. So I built a quick little stand for it. Some wheels, locking wheels on it. Works out pretty good. It's a little heavy for those wheels, I think, but it'll survive for a while. So I can get some bigger wheels. But I built it pretty high, pretty tall, which I thought maybe I screwed up and made it too tall, but I don't have to bend over at all now to use this thing. So I'm actually really enjoying using a saw that I don't have to break my back to use, because I got back problems anyways from a car accident. But yeah, it's working out pretty good. Got my little plans here. Yeah, I have plans to build a sump that goes down in the framework of that stand, and someday soon I'll be adding coolant, and I have some string lights. These guys here that have an adhesive backing to them. I'm probably gonna put some string lights up here, a couple rows. Maybe that'll give me a little more light by the blade where I'm lining things up. But yeah, the only real problem I had that I haven't filmed so far is this clamping vise, clamping vise. When I would really tighten down on it with this guy, it would actually move the whole thing. It wasn't so bad when you had it set up square, but if you had it in an angle, it would actually change your angle. So if you look real carefully, see if I can zoom in, you can see there's a piece of sandpaper. I super glued a piece of sandpaper to the bottom side of that, so that when I clamp down with those bolts, it really digs in, and that seems to help. It hasn't moved on me yet, but I'm sure I'll have to replace the sandpaper from time to time as it gets clogged up. But that was my little solution to that problem. And yeah, other than that, everything seems to be working out great. Got my little stands here working out in my garage. So my driveway has a steep slope to it. If I end up even out in where these garbage cans are with my stand, it's even starting to slope down right there. So I built a stand out of some old brake rotors from the Toyota, and had to braze this plate. Of course, you can't weld steel to cast iron, it'll just break off. So I brazed it on there. Not much of a brazier, but then from there, welded on a tube, salvaged 2 short pieces of tube to make a longer one. And then here's the main thing I was going to show you. I can set the angle that this thing sits at. You can see here. Lighting's terrible. Let's do this. got 2 nuts welded on there. It consists of 2 plates. And if I loosen these nuts, it pivots off the top one. The bottom one is like a locking nut. It's got a slot to it. And I can get up to 15 degrees in either direction of angle. See, there's like a little slot cut back inside there. Set it and tighten down my bolts. Good to go. No matter where I have to place this thing out here on the slope or whatever, I can match the angle of the saw sitting at.